important to us. You know, when we talk about time management, we talk about the need to prioritize the things that are important to us, right? So, and that's what I get to do every day. You know, every day I have more things to do than the time that I have. So when I go to work, I pretty much focus on the priorities. I do the things that are priority. When I'm done, I'm done. When the time has gone, it's gone. Move it to the next day. Move it to the next day. I always have more than I can do in a day, but I just go eat on the priorities. And when I'm done, time is gone, I'm done, right? But because I'm responsible for my time. When the week is gone, I cannot give an excuse that I did not have enough time. I am responsible for the result of how I use my time, whether it be economically in the workplace or whether it be in my relationship. I cannot give an excuse because I had a busy week. I did not have time to spend with my children, with my wife. You know, that's in my control, right? That's in my control, how I spend my time and what I pay attention to, right? And in that wise, we talk about two parts of our mind, right? We talked about our mind, right? But there are two parts to our mind. That's what we call the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. The conscious mind is a gateway to the unconscious mind. The conscious mind is said to be about 10% of our mind, and the unconscious mind is about 90% of our mind. Now, the conscious mind is a gate to the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is the workhorse of our mind. The unconscious mind can focus on as many things as you want it to focus on at a time. The conscious mind can only focus on one thing at a time. Sometimes we deceive ourselves and think we're multitasking, but we're not. Nobody can multitask. Not even women can multitask. What we do when we say we're multitasking is we're switching from one task to the other. We cannot do two tasks at the same time. Whilst I'm talking to you right now, I can't do anything else with my conscious mind. However, with my unconscious mind, I'm doing 1,001 things. Like I told you earlier on, as I'm talking to you, I'm thinking about what I've said before. That has been done unconsciously and is feeding into my conscious mind. But as far as my conscious mind is concerned, I can only do one thing at a time. That's focused on talking with you here and sharing on the topic that I'm sharing. But my unconscious mind is feeding my conscious mind, right? However, again, the conscious mind is a gate to the unconscious mind. My ability to have my conscious mind under control determines the thing that happens in my unconscious mind. Now, a bit of digression. When people want to do mind control, subliminal control of your mind, what they do is distract your conscious mind. If someone can distract your conscious mind, that person can get to your unconscious mind. That's what you talk about subliminal advertising. So when you see some advertisement that don't make sense, that's what you think that it don't make sense, but it's intentional for it not to make sense because they want your conscious mind to be distracted so they can show to your unconscious mind the real information in that advert. It doesn't make sense to you because it was psychologically put together because they understand the way your mind works. So they get your conscious mind to be wondering about what they are doing. But once your conscious mind is distracted, whatever else you're seeing, your unconscious mind is seeing it. But for as long as your conscious mind is not distracted, you control everything your unconscious mind sees. Whatever your unconscious mind sees controls your behavior. That's what you call subliminal advert. They're showing you something that your conscious mind is not seeing because it got it distracted. But because your unconscious mind saw it, they put in you something that will affect your behavior, though your conscious mind did not see it. This basis called hypnotism, right? Hypnotism is not all of those things they show you a movie. There's basic of hypnotism. That's how you hypnotize somebody. Hypnotism is simply, it's not putting someone to sleep. Hypnotism is simply distracting the conscious mind so you can communicate with the unconscious mind. That's the basics of hypnotism. That's the basis of subliminal advertising, right? So the extent to which you can control your conscious mind to determine what you spend time on and what you pay attention to is the extent to which you have control of your mind and the things that are taking place in your unconscious mind, right? So I'm going to move on from that. I hope you got that. Hoping you got that. But if you don't, feel free. You can type me a question and we can discuss more on that. So when we focus on one thing, we're at our most thoughtful, creative, and productive state. When we focus, where our conscious mind is sending that information to our unconscious mind, the workhorse of our life. Our unconscious mind is being given an information concerning what we're focused on. Because when we're focused on it, we're telling our unconscious mind it is important, right? And we're sending it on a mission to solve the thing we're focused on. So it then begins to correlate with everything we've read before, and 1,001 things. Don't forget our mind also is spiritual. The mind is not physical. The mind is able to do things that are incredible. The mind has a communication with the invisible world. That's what we call an intuitive mind, right? It's the overlap between our unconscious mind and the invisible world, right? God, the spirit world. It's not just God in the spirit world. The devil is there also, right? So, but our ability to focus is our ability to give message into our unconscious mind to get all the information that we need to be productive. And that goes beyond even what we have read, because then it's interacting with things that are beyond even what we know already have stored in. Right? But I'm going to stop there. So attention is the most basic form of love. Like we said, again, repeating that. What we love, we'll give attention to. And what we give attention to, we'll love. There's no excuse around that. If I don't give attention to a thing, I don't love that thing, irrespective of what I think. So if I love something, I will give attention to it. If I don't give attention to something, I don't love that thing. If I give attention to that thing, I love that thing. There's no come go around it. There's no excuse around it. So if I think I love something, it's up to me to give attention to that thing. Because if I don't give attention to it, I am not going to build the relationship with that thing. So whoever it is in my social universe, I think I need to build a relationship with, guess what? I need to spend time with that person. I need to pay attention to that person. That's the only way to build a relationship. It's not by prayer. It's not by wishing. The only way you build a relationship is spending time, pay attention. Spend time, pay attention. That's the only way you show love. No, there's no other way. It's not by praying. It's not by deceiving yourself, right? So attention is the outer stuff of life. It's equally valuable no matter what era or person is, right? Whether it's Z generation, Y generation, whatever generation, love is love. And love is equal to spend time, pay attention. Spend time, pay attention. Whether a person is the village, whether a person is in America, Russia, love has only one language. Spend time, pay attention. Pay attention, spend time. Same language, wherever you find it, whatever generation, right? You know, another word, synonyms to the word attention is, it's just by when you go to a restaurant and the waiter is there, what the waiter is doing is paying attention to you, right? Before you know, they know you need water. Oh, you need this food. Oh, do we bring this? They are paying attention and reading you. So when we talk about paying attention to something or someone, is that you're able to read both the verbal and non-verbal communication coming from that person. If you cannot read the non-verbal communication coming from that person, you're not paying attention to that person, right? I love a quote I saw earlier on today. It says that when you look at something too much, it can stand in the way of what you see. It's not about what you're looking at. It's about what you see. That determines whether you're paying attention or not. And maybe that's where women get it from when they talk about that, when they expect men to read their mind. What she's saying is, are you paying attention to me? I know I've quoted that, I've preached that they should stop expecting us to read their mind. really. But what they're talking about is not just reading their mind. They know we're not mind readers. What they're really saying is, are you paying attention to me? Are you seeing me? Are you hearing my non-verbal cues? Are you hearing what I'm saying without saying it? That's what she's asking for. That's what she's saying. She's saying, do you love me? Because if you love me, you'll pay attention to me. You will not just wait for me to say it. You'll be able to see it. You'll be able to decipher what I am not saying. And if you truly love me, you will pay attention. That's what she's asking for. And it's well within our right to ask for it. It's well within the right of every human being to ask for it, because that is what love is made of, right? We're not all there. As much as we pay attention, none of us can see all of that, but we need to seek to grow in that wise, because that's how we build relationship. It's not everything someone's going to tell you. But if you pay attention, you will see. You will hear what someone is not saying if you pay attention. Same way the waiter doesn't wait for you to call. They already know you want to call. They don't wait for you to ask for water. They know you want water. They don't know, wait for you to say, bring the bill. They already know. But they're looking at you, looking at your movement, and they can decipher that. By that, they are seemingly reading your mind, just like a woman wants you to read her mind. What she's saying is not that you should be a mind reader, but you should pay attention. Because who you love, what you love, you will pay attention to that thing. Who you love, what you love, you spend time with. That is how you build relationship. That's how you make your life better. That's how you add more to your life. That's how you grow. That's how you enjoy life. That's how you spice your life out. There are things you can do. Right? So it's a word to nurture, it's a word to protect, it's a word to tend to, it's a word to watch, it's a word to wait on. It is the basic food and water of a living and breathing relationship. If you want a relationship to be better, pay attention. Pay attention. It's what we need, and it's what we all crave for. Every living person craves to be seen. To see a person is to pay attention to that person. Intimacy is intimacy. Intimacy is not just physical intercourse. Intimacy is the ability to see into me. You're only intimate with a person to the extent to which you can see into that person. You can hear the non-verbal cues of that person. That's what intimacy is. If you cannot hear the non-verbal cues of a person, you're not intimate with that person. Whether you're married or not married. Your intimacy is to the extent to which you can hear what that person is not saying. You can only hear that if you pay attention, if you spend time with. So if we're going to give attention, we need to be aware, we need to be alert, we need to be ready taking the information, right? You need to look out for it, Again, it's not just looking, right? Yeah, when you look too much, it might stand in the way of what you're supposed to see. It's the eye with which you see. It's not just the looking. You need to look expecting something, right? You need to choose to pay attention as to the information that comes. You need to ignore the distraction, right? And that would help. All right. In closing, I typically run through some quotes. I'm going to run through some quotes here to try and close this. And one of it is by the folklore that says, time waits for no one. We all know that. Time waits for no one. Time waits for no one. Time is going to keep going on. We all have a limited time, but time is not going to say, oh, pause. I want to pause. There are no pause in life. Time is going to keep on ticking, whether you go with it or not. Time waits for no one, and we all have a limited resource. Time is money. Money is time, but time is bigger than money. Money you can always get when you lose. Time you cannot get back when you lose it. Right? So time is bigger than money. Even though time is money, money is time. Time is more valuable than money. The key is not in spending time or killing time. The key in life is to invest it. Sow time for what you want. Don't let time pass you by. Sow the time. Sow your day. Sow your morning. Sow your afternoon. Sow your evening. Sow your week. Sow your months. Sow your years for what you want out of life. Be intentional. Be proactive. in how you use your time. Why? Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. Once you've lost it, you can never get it back. Right? So when we talk about attention, the simple act of paying attention can take you a long way. Right? Jim Rohn will talk about being mindful of the obvious. There are a lot of obvious things around us. There are a lot of things your wife is trying to tell you. There's a lot of things your husband is trying to tell you. There are a lot of things your children are trying to tell you. There are a lot of things your siblings are trying to tell you. There's a lot of things your boss in the office is trying to tell you. There's a lot of things your siblings are trying to tell you, but you won't hear it unless you pay attention. Right? If those relationships are important to you, pay attention. There's a lot that has been said without them speaking that you're supposed to pick and work on if you want to build that relationship. Right? What you do with the attention is in the hand what you do with your life. What you do with what you're supposed to pay attention to, what you're supposed to get and respond to is what you do with your life, right? And so tell me what you pay attention to, and I will tell you who you are, because that makes a difference to who you are. All right, that's all I got for this Sunday. We're going to continue next Sunday, so talking about attention to relationships. I hope you got something from this. You know, just to reiterate, we're just talking about attention and time, and there are things we invest to make our relationships better. You know, whether it be a romantic relationship, associate, family, children, church, whatever, God, you know, those are the essential elements, seed that was sown to improve our relationship and life as a whole, you know. So I hope you got something from it. And it's a book we're looking at, and it's The Good Life by Robert Waldinger and Max Schutz. It's a book that was released in January of this year, and it's a 5-year study on human development. And the conclusion is that what makes for a good life is the relationships we have in our life, the different relationships and the quality of those relationships. And that's what we're all trying to learn together so that we can apply in our own life. Thanks. I appreciate you all. Thanks.